Welcome to Snetterton for round 3 of the Thundersport GB Championships, and here we are on the Thundersport podium. The top step is where everyone wants to be today. In this show, we bring you action from the Thundersport 500s, the Street Fighters, the Golden Era Superbikes, and the pre-National 600s. 8 races packed into an hour and a half. Sit back, relax, and welcome to Thundersport Plus. Yes, hello and welcome to sunny Snet here in Norfolk, ready for the 3rd round of the championships. Blue skies here, and the first race on circuit will be the Buff Headwear Thundersport 500s. And well, thanks to Buff supplying us with all these umbrellas on this hot day, we've got a grid full of grid girls, grid boys, grid all sorts. There's a few odd characters out there, but a great effort from everyone involved, and of course the official sponsor of the Thundersport 500 Championship. There's number 42, Jonathan Perry, just getting thumbs up from his very attractive grid man there. And away he goes. He's on the 2nd row. We had a great race back at Donington Park between these guys. It's Adam Palfman on pole. The bright coloured helmet in the middle there is Carl Smalley, championship leader, and then Tom Leonard here on the inside, number 21, with the red and white leathers. Away we go then to start this Thundersport 500 race at Snetterton, the 200 circuit, down towards turn 1 here, into Ritchie's, and it's going to be the whole shot for Carl Smalley, number 69, ahead of Adam Palfman, number 64. Adam has just been struggling a little bit with speed here this weekend, despite the fact he set pole position in the races. He's just been struggling and hasn't always come out on top. Carl Smalley, there he is, number 69, entering this weekend as the championship leader ahead of Adam Horton. Horton out there, number 49. Of course, all of these machines absolutely identical. There shouldn't be too much difference in speed, but not every bike is absolutely identical. And down into the S's for the first time, it's still Smalley that has the advantage. Adam Palfman thought about a sneaky look up the inside. There's Tom Leonard in 3rd place, who gave us a great race back at Donington Park. And further back through the grid, here they all come. The Thundersport 500s. Down into the bomb hole there is number 27. That's John O'Toole from Derby. This is Smalley that leads, number 69, with the bright green and pink helmet, making his way into Murray's and onto the start finish straight to complete the first lap here at Snetterton. Adam Palfman still in 2nd place. As we can see from up here on the gantry, Tom Leonard in 3rd. Horton has now climbed up into 4th place, but Rob Morby, the leader of the Seniors Championship, is up at the sharp end as usual, number 53. Jonathan Perry, we saw him at the start on the grid, number 42 is up there as well. Steve Wood, Alan Naylor, Colin Mooney, Phil Brown, etc. So a good group of them there. A massive mistake from Carl Smalley down into Montreal. Has just lost him some ground, and just going underneath him, the pair of them, both Adam Palfman and Tom Leonard. And Leonard looks to have some decent slipstream and a good run down the back straight. Leonard on the inside with the white and red leathers and the black helmet, trying to go into 1st place, down into the S's, and he's just about done it. Smalley's up to 2nd as well. So Adam Palfman has been stitched up there just as they go into the S's. Tom Leonard it is now that leads this one from Carl Smalley and Adam Palfman. Of course, Smalley and Tom Leonard had a fantastic battle back at Donington Park, and Palfman's been in the mix as well, so we could have one of the most memorable Thundersport 500 championships that we've had in years. We've in the last couple of seasons, we've always had what seems to be a runaway winner. Not so this year. It's Leonard that leads. There's Smalley in 2nd, his arm tucked behind his back just to try and get as much slipstream as possible. And here they come, down the start finish straight, side by side. And it is Palfman still in 3rd place. The rest of them at the moment not able to keep up with him. It's Smalley that's now leading from Leonard and Palfman. Adam Horton in 4th place has broken away from the pack in 4th place and is just trying to group up with this lot. There is number 96, that's Jack Tynan, just outside the top 10 at the moment, behind Phil Brown, but ahead of Peter Bardell and Matt Snow. There is number 17, David Moss. David, one of our Senior Cup riders, up in the top 3 of the championship overall. Back to the front we go though, and it is still Carl Smalley that has the advantage from Tom Leonard and Adam Palfman there. Adam's brother, of course, races with us as well, Dave. And Adam's in quite a few championships as ever, and he's moved up to 2nd place there, and there's a major incident. Oh my word! And that was really nasty further back. It's number 27, John O'Toole. He looks to have been run over there as well. How on earth he's walked up and away from that so well, I do not know, but that looks really nasty indeed. Further back, trying to get a glimpse, I think it was Harley Preble that got himself involved in that one as well. But major incident there. Glad to see him up walking away. There's number 98. It's Phil Brown having a good run out inside the top 10 of this race so far, but these are the leaders heading down the back straight, and Adam Palfman's been dropped slightly now, so it's between Carl Smalley here, number 69, and the red and white colours of Tom Leonard, number 21. Tom from Stockton on the TL Racing Honda. Carl Smalley leading this one, number 69, rider from Scunthorpe on the Rat Out Racing BCM Honda. So at the moment, Palfman just struggling a wee bit. Down the field, there is 101, Colin Mooney, and he's still having a decent fight inside the top 10. There is 42, Jonathan Perry. We saw him at the start, having a bit of a lonely race at this moment in time. In 6th place, there to Stephen Wood and Alan Naylor. Rob Morby's just up ahead of them, leading the Seniors Cup. The last lap flag is out. Adam Palfman there having a big sit up and look over his shoulder, maybe struggling here. So it's just down to these two for the race win in this first Buff Headwear Thundersport 500 battle. There you see the guys in 7th, 8th and 9th. You've got Stephen Wood, Alan Naylor, Colin Mooney, Phil Brown, etc. They're still going to fight all the way to the checkered flag, I think, for that one. But it's between these two as they head on to the Bentley Straight for the final time, trying to get as much slipstream as possible. And I just wonder if Smalley's got enough in the bag there. He's lapping very well indeed. The fastest lap of the race does belong to Tom Leonard. There's a stationary yellow flag there as they head down into the S's. Now, whether that's from the incident we saw a moment ago, I'm not sure, or whether it's something else, but Tom Leonard's going to have to bite now. Yeah, there's a bike down. We've got another one down on these last laps. Into the bomb hole we go. Can Tom Leonard find anything into the Corums? He's got just one chance left now. He needs a good run around Corums and then maybe find a way past into Murray's, but I don't think he's close enough. So he's going to have to try and get some decent driving on the start-finish straight. This looks like it's going to go to Carl Smalley, number 69. Onto the start-finish straight we go. No mistakes. He clicks up the gears. Tom Leonard is not got enough in the bag here, so Smalley wins. Checkered flag out. Carl Smalley extending his championship lead there with 25 points. He takes the victory ahead of Tom Leonard there, just about there to put a lap on Dave Bezic further back, but there's confirmation of the results. Smalley wins from Leonard. It's Adam Horton in 3rd place. He managed to get past Palfman in the end. Rob Morby finishes 5th and wins the Seniors Cup, and a very good looking Tom Leonard there on your left. In the seniors, it is a win for Morby, Mooney and Brown.
Carl Smalley, winner. I mean, you had fantastic battles yesterday. It was really hard, similar weather, and you must be chuffed with this to go out and win this one.
Oh, I'm absolutely, well, I'm over the moon. I really didn't expect it today because of the wind. It's a bit stronger, but just managed to get the better of Adam and Tom in that one. Ran a bit deep into the hairpin quite a few times, and they pulled like second and a half, and I managed to pull it back and just secure a bit of a comfy barrier. But yeah, it was really, really good. Enjoyed it. Roll on the next one, boy.
Well done. Anybody to thank?
Yeah, massive thanks to my gaffer, Bruce, at Bruce Cousin Motors. Drayton's Auto sent a Scunthorpe powder coating for giving me a nice bright bike. And I'd like to dedicate this win really to Ian Alkins. I never got the chance at Donington because I didn't win. And the other person is my mate Johnny. He's sadly in hospital. Couldn't get around to this round. So that's for you, boys.
Rob Morby, winner of the Seniors Cup. That target on your back seems to get ever bigger, and they're getting slightly closer. Is it worrying you?
Yeah, it is worrying me, but it will make for better racing. We don't just want to come round and ride off into the distance. I wouldn't want that. I would want to be first, but I'd like them to be just behind me. But no, it's going great. The overall result is getting back to where I want to be, and yeah, great to win the seniors again. Can't wait for the next round.
Anybody supports you want to thank?
Yeah, I've got my partner Jane and Chris Johnston this weekend. Chris has looked after the bikes impeccably. We never have a mechanical failure. We're just making little changes, and he's always willing to do it, even late at night. So thanks, Chris, and thanks, Jane.
Well, that's the end of part 1. Coming up after the break, don't go anywhere. It's time for the A&R Racing Pre-National 600s. Welcome back to Snetterton, and it's time now for the A&R Racing Pre-National Sport 600s, a championship for riders that are yet to attain a national licence. And there's the man to beat so far, Stephen Parsons, coming into this weekend. Adam Revel it is that led the championship overall, but Adam's not been having the most perfect weekends, a few mechanicals here and there. Ozzy Mady looking very quick, there he is, Ozzy second on the grid, and third on the grid, Dean Mulcahy. On his day, Dean can beat anyone, but occasionally he does just chuck it up the road a bit and they're trying to settle him down, but he's definitely a rider to keep an eye on for this season's championship. Here we go then, a grid full of 600s. Quite a few rookie vests out there for riders that are in their first full season, but the majority of these guys are all new to the sport. Down into turn one we go, and it's a really good start there from number 57, Matt Truelove. What a great start that is from 6th on the grid. He's managed to sling it up the inside of Stephen Parsons. Of course, Parsons, number 11 there on the blue and white triumph. Truelove goes wide and allows Parsons through. Parsons had a perfect Donington Park. He cleared off and left the rest behind. Nobody could keep up with him. What can he do here? He didn't qualify particularly well yesterday here when we had some racing, but he made up for it by getting fastest overall in the mega laps, which is basically a calculation of all the laps you've done on the Saturday, and there he is on pole position. Ozzy Mady though up into second place now. Up there is also Paul Rogers. He's got himself off to a decent start as he goes through the grid. That's Greg Scanlon, a face that's been in this Thundersport paddock for quite some time. Nice to see Greg back out there. Number 5 I can see up the sharp end as well, Chris Sanders. Birthday boy, Asa Webb, he's up in the top 12 as well. There is Ben Shuttlewood. Now Ben actually came up to me, number 83, there he is, and said, I've changed my number colour because of you, because we criticised him at the last round, we couldn't see it, so he said black on white should do the trick. It has, thanks very much. So nice to see that someone listens. Down into Montreal for the second time now. Stephen Parsons just trying to edge away. He doesn't mind building up a decent lead at the front. Parsons, number 11 here on the Giraffe Racing Triumph, rider from Milnthorpe. Quite a tall rider, but he gets that frame tucked into the Triumph very well indeed, and he's looking quick. In second there is Ozzy Mady, the reigning Formula 400 champion with Thundersport GB. He's only been out on the 600 a few times, but he does look quite impressive and he looks very comfortable. There he is, 175, our resident from Douglas in the Isle of Man. There's Dean Mulcahy as well, number 95, and also number 50 there, Darren Ibbotson, just getting it a bit wild through the S's. Got Matt Johnston along with him as well, number 92, just behind them, Paul Rogers. So a number of riders to keep an eye out. Most of these guys all in the top 10 overall. Coming into this weekend, it was Revel that led the championship. He's not out in this race now. Not sure whether that was the mechanical that he had from yesterday that's kept him out of it, but it really will cost him in terms of points. And you've got to think that Stephen Parsons will have enough here to win it, but to tell you what, he might struggle to win the race, because here comes Ozzy Mady now. Is he having a look up the inside, down into Montreal? Yes, he is. He's left it late to break. A nice move that, very clean indeed. And Ozzy Mady it is that leads. It's not just about getting the overtaking manoeuvre done, you've got to get on the power early. Down on this back straight, and Parsons might just be able to get in the slipstream here and have another nibble at him as they go down into the S's, the last of the late breakers, and Parsons got the inside line, but no, the door's closed on him. And you just got the feeling there that Parsons knew that was coming as they went through the S's. A bit of a tank slapper there for Ozzy Mady, a bit of a wobble. That's very easy to do actually outside the S's going up towards the bomb hole. The front end does go light on you through there, so a little bit of a wobble on there for Ozzy Mady. Further back on the 55, Tom Hallam. We've got Charlie Oakland out there and Ben Shuttlewood. So a lot of riders having a lot of fun out on the circuit so far. Dean Mulcahy just up inside the top 5, but it's Ozzy Mady that still leads. Parsons is thinking about these moves up the inside, but you've got to get right up alongside him if you want to make it count. Down into Montreal we go one more time as we pan back to see there. Number 92 is Matt Johnston and number 8 Grant Newstead, both riders inside the top 10 at the moment. Matt Johnston from Newbury, and on the Newbury Motorcycles Yamaha, and number 8 Grant Newstead isn't actually in our race programme for this weekend, so he's a welcome addition. There's been a change at the front. It is Stephen Parsons now that leads this one. Parsons will inherit the championship lead, you would think, at the end of this weekend, and Aussie Mady just looking for some glory here. And it's nice to see Parsons getting some competition after what we saw at Donington Park. They weren't the greatest of races to commentate on, I've got to admit. There's birthday boy, Asa Webb. He's got his birthday t-shirt on there as well. Very aggressive riding style Asa's got. It's great to have him out there. And he'll be looking forward to Cadwell Park, which is, of course, our next round here at Thundersport GP, coming up in a few weeks' time. Across the line then, the last lap flag is out. It's Parsons that leads this one from Aussie Mady. Aussie Mady very quick into Ritchie's, and he's going to line up a move surely down into Montreal. There's a bit of traffic up ahead as well, and Aussie Mady isn't even thinking about this one. He's going to have a look straight up the inside. It's as easy as that. He really has got that move sorted out, and Parsons there just looked to have run a bit wide. Maybe Mady not giving him quite enough room. Either way, the move wasn't dirty in any way, and Parsons has got it all to do now with half a lap left. They come past a bit of traffic and they head down into the S's. Now then, Parsons has got to get it done pretty quickly. There's only a few opportunities left. Mady's still got it as they exit the S's up towards the bomb hole. No tank slapper this time, and Parsons realistically now has got just one place left to do it. He's going to have to try and line a move up down into Murray's, but he needs to be closer than he is. And Aussie Mady looks good for this one. They're on the Kawasaki down into Murray's for the final time. In third is still, but it's Dean Mulcahy, number 95, that's got it ahead of Chris Sanders. Matt Truelove also inside the top 5. But who's going to take the win in the A&R Racing Pre-National 600s? It is Mady. He holds on to 25 points. A good win that. Nice to have Aussie back on the top step. He wins it ahead of Parsons, and Dean Mulcahy there, you just see number 95 just crossing the line on his Phoenix Racing Yamaha to take third ahead of Chris Sanders. It's Matt Truelove, number 57. He got the whole shot, but he finishes in 5th place. And Darren Ibbotson, number 50 there, in 6th. There they are on the podium then, let's hear from them. Aussie Mady, the winner, ahead of Parsons and Mulcahy.
Aussie Mady, great win, but tough.
Understatement. And it was a good run start to finish, you know. I mean, sort of took turns in leading, dicing. I mean, with a few little issues on the bike, it made it a bit tough to ride, but it was just good fun.
But that's really what it's all about, and that's what makes you want to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a great race. I mean, there's loads of respect on circuit. There's no sort of, there is argy-bargy, but it's clean, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a good run. Brilliant.
And who have you got supporting you?
First of all, my parents. I mean, they support me 100% all the way. Friends and family as well, just everyone. We've got the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company, sort us out quite a lot, give us a lot of help. Wiz Racing, Shark Helmets, Steve Christie at Appetites, the Isle of Man, Andy Grimshaw, and I'd like to give a shout out to everyone at the Wyville up in Leyburn.
Okay, well done to Aussie there. He'll be back out ready for race 2. Which will be coming up later on in the programme. Sparklight Racing Golden Era Superbikes and Golden Era Supersport now. There is number 30, Andrew Windsor, who's got off to a really good start this weekend. Good qualifying. Entered this weekend 8th overall in the championship. Chris Martin not on the grid there. Supposed to be on pole. Of course, he was so dominant back at Donington Park. His engine went pop this weekend. So it's not to be for him, unfortunately. He's going to lose out on a few points here, but it is an opportunity for others to get themselves the victory in the Golden Era Superbikes, not least John Dieterman, who's up on the front row. There he is, number 18. We've got yellow flags in the background, so we've got a few problems there for a rider who's obviously not got off to a great start, but it is a decent one for number 18, John Dieterman, the rider from Preston on the backseat Yamaha. Of course, last year he was on a Ducati. John is, at the moment, just having one of those hit-and-miss seasons. It seems to be going well for him in the races, and then, of course, he had those problems mechanically at Donington, which prevented him from finishing on the podium. So, real shame for him, but I'm sure it'll come together soon enough. It is Dieterman that leads from number 30 there. Andrew Windsor. In 3rd place is Shane Pearson, number 35. On the orange machine, there you see the orange and white Suzuki. Shane 3rd coming into this weekend. And further back actually is his brother, Jamie Pearson, number 24, on the same looking Suzuki, but of course that one's a 600. So we've got brothers that are both very, very competitive in their separate classes. We've also got Ian Morgan out there as well, number 76, and those guys are all running out of the same awning. There's Jamie Hitter, number 33, and number 78 just behind him, Daniel Baton. Jamie, well, I suppose it must be a long time ago now, when he had a lot of success here at Snetterton, when he was the powerbike champion in 1999, was it, something like that? And that was when Snetterton was a little bit different. But Jamie not always having things his own way at the moment this season. Him and the Kawasaki not quite seeing eye to eye, but it's nice to see him out there. He's certainly improved from his grid position. That was a horror. He won't mind me saying that, but he's improved up the grid already, so let's see how he gets on. It's John Dieterman, though, with the advantage so far in the Golden Era Superbikes ahead of Andy Windsor. That looks like, in fact, Andy Windsor's gone down to third. It is Shane Pearson that's up into second place. Nick Williamson's up at the sharp end as well. That's on the green, white and red machine. Just going down a few gears into the S's. That was Craig Jeff, number 16. There he is. There's Pearson second, number 30 Windsor third, and Craig Jeff there in fourth place. Leading the Super Sports at the moment, there's a good battle going on between Sam Nicholson, number 2, and number 24 Jamie Pearson. His brother is there, and that's Shane Pearson, number 35. Now, we've never ever had two brothers winning separate classes in the same race, so could we see that right here at Snetterton? Certainly looking up for it. There's Dieterman that lead from Pearson and Windsor, then Craig Jeff in fourth place. Further back, Ollie Dupree. I mean, Ollie did say to me, don't expect to see me up at the sharp end fighting for wins this weekend. We've got major problems with our machine. It's just about getting as many points together as possible, as we see number 4 up the inside of number 20. Dominic Clegg is at number 4 ahead of Andy Chalice. I've got a bone to pick with Dominic Clegg, as he pretty much ran me over in the paddock yesterday. Oh, and there's a problem again for John Dieterman. Oh no, and similar things happening here for Dieterman. He had issues back at Donington Park, and his arm's in the air, and that's him out of the race, and that's such a shame for Dieterman. When is he going to get some luck? The Baxi Yamaha has packed in, and that's a real shame for him, and he shakes his head as he goes straight on there at the S's. This is the battle once more we see from Clegg, who decided to run me over, and Andy Chalice. And just behind these guys is Jamie Pearson, number 24. So Pearson leads the Golden Era Supersport, and his brother leads overall now in this race, Shane Pearson, in the Golden Era Superbikes. So number 35 inherits the lead, but he's got company. Andy Windsor just there in second place, number 30, as they go on to the start-finish straight now to tick off another lap. Windsor from Chichester on the AW Motorsports Suzuki, and there you can see a lot of orange down on pit wall, and that is the Melted Sliders Suzuki team that are cheering on Pearson at the front, but Pearson's dropped down to second now as Andy Windsor goes up the inside of him in the lead. Craig Jeff here is in third place on the Aprilia Melee, and it's still Andy Chalice, and we've got there Dominic Clegg as well. And in the Supersport so far in this race, it's Jamie Pearson that leads. Welcome back to Snetterton. It's Thundersport Plus, and we've not got long to go here in the Sparklight Racing Golden Era Superbikes and Supersport. This is the battle at the front for the Superbike class overall, and it is Shane Pearson, number 35. He's having a good dust up here with number 30, Andrew Windsor. Shane Pearson's brother on the orange, the other orange and white Suzuki, further back, leading the Supersport class as well. So it could be a good day for the brothers here on the Melted Sliders Suzuki's. A well turned out team, always got a big crowd with them, so great to have them in the paddocks. And well, they're doing the right things so far, and they are leading their classes. Can Andrew Windsor do anything about that? Further back there is Andy Chalice on the yellow and red Aprilia Melee. He's just having a decent battle at the moment with Dominic Clegg. Andy out there on the Team CT Racing Aprilia. Clegg out there on the HB Motorcycle Suzuki. There is Windsor with the orange bib on, just following the moves. And there we just got a quick glimpse of Ollie Dupree, and he's out there having a decent battle. There's Ian Morgan as well. There's number 24, that's Jamie Pearson, brother of Shane, leading the Supersport class at the moment. He's having a good battle with Keith Smith, who's out there on a Ducati. So brothers in arms, they're leading each category here at Snetterton. Keith Smith, it was Mr. Potato Head, having a decent battle with Jamie Pearson. So they're not battling in the same class. Smithy's out there on Ducati. And I've never known anybody make a Ducati look so big. Keith Smith's actually had to have the tank redesigned just so he can reach the bars. And I'm sure he's probably still using a podium just to climb onto it. It is Shane Pearson that leads from Andrew Windsor at the moment, but Pearson has got the advantage here and is stretching away. The checkered flag is out, and Shane Pearson has done it. Now we just have to wait and see whether his brother can win the Supersport class as well. Windsor does finish in second place. Craig Jeff on the podium as well. Nick Williamson fourth. Dupree in fifth, ahead of Andy Chalice. Then it's Clegg Morgan, and Jamie Pearson has won the Supersport class. He finishes in 9th place overall, so the brothers have done it. And that's history making. There is Jamie Pearson winning in the Supersport ahead of Sam Nicholson and Richie Harrison. And overall, that's Shane Pearson winning ahead of Andrew Windsor and Craig Jeff.
Sparklight Racing, Golden Era Superbike and Supersport. This is the first time that we've had two brothers win both different classes in one grid. Obviously Shane won the Golden Era Superbike and Jamie won the Golden Era Supersport. Jamie, you must be delighted with this.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. Been waiting for this for a long time. Just trying to catch up Shane next time though, hopefully. But yeah, big thank you to Motor Sliders for getting me back out there after a bad luck with the engines. But it's all paid off, and hopefully we'll do the same in race 2.
This is brilliant, and I'm really chuffed for you. I mean, like, this is just so great to see you both up here.
Yeah, it is. It's a great opportunity for the team, and we're just enjoying going racing. When it's going right, it's going right. When it's wrong, it's wrong. You know, after the big smash at Craners at Donington, again, Motor Sliders reframed the bike, got us back out, and just, you know, great help and support from the family and the friends.
Well, never mind the Pearson brothers. We'll have to start calling the Blues brothers with those shades on. And good stuff from them. They'll be back out for race 2. Next up, the Isle of Man Race Products, Street Fighters and Formula 400s. On pole position, number 121, Martin Stanier. He's been having a good time of it so far in this class. He's leading it well. We've also got Paul Cunvin on the front row as well. And there's Ryan Strafford, number 57, flat cap on the front of the number board there. It's because his granddad used to race and he always used to wear a flat cap, and he used to run number 57 as well, so that's for his granddad. And I'll have a bit of apologising to do to Ryan in a moment or two once we get the racing underway. But here we go then for the Isle of Man Race Products, Street Fighters and Formula 400s. It's Stanier that's going to get the whole shot surely ahead of Paul Cunvin. Yes, they're in 4th place, number 50, the first of the 400s. Lewis Barnes getting off to a decent start. We get a glimpse there of Andrew Castle at number 45 just going through, but Stanier it is that takes to the front, having started on pole position. The Street Fighter A rider in second there. Cunvin, number 18, is on a Street Fighter B. So difference in size of machines. Cunvin from Kings Lynn, so not a million miles away from Snetterton, of course, riding under the RAF Motorsports Association banner. Martin Stanier from Stoke-on-Trent, MS Racing Suzuki. Been with us for quite some time, and it is Ryan Strafford there in 3rd place. Number 57, the rider from Murfield on the Axis Drilling Triumph. Now, I gave him a hammering at Donington Park because I said he was always the bridesmaid. He didn't like that, so he said he's going to make up for it here this weekend. I also said that the bike was an ugly duckling. Well, you know, I've been taught a lesson. I've been given a history lesson on the design of the bike, and let's see how we get on here in this weekend, and whether or not Ryan Strafford can prevent himself from becoming the bridesmaid and instead throw those bouquet of flowers and get himself on the top step. Number 57, currently just behind Paul Cunvin for the Street Fighter B. There's Duncan McMillan, number 7 on the KTM 690. He's in the Street Fighter C battle here today, having a good dust up with his old mates Keith Warren, who's the reigning champion, number 1. You'll see him out there on an Aprilia 550. But so far, Martin Stanier just clearing off a bit out front. There is number 7, Duncan McMillan, and just behind him is Andy Driver on the MZ 690. That's a self-made machine from Andy Driver, factory MZ. And there is Martin Stanier once more, the overall leader. We've not got or seen much competition for Martin Stanier as yet. I bumped into Andy Denyer, a former Street Fighter A champion, and asked him when he's going to jump on the bike again, but he's full of injuries at the moment, so maybe Stanier's going to have his own way just for a little while longer. Snetterton, of course, will lend itself to riders on the bigger machines. There's Dave Palfman just going through on the black and orange Triumph 675. He's currently in the top 3 of the Street Fighter Bs, and there's number 50 and number 10. This is the battle for the Formula 400s between Lewis Barnes and Joe Sheldon Shaw. Lewis Barnes number 50, Joe Sheldon Shaw number 10. And in the championship overall between those two, well, coming into this weekend, there was only 25 points in it. So there they are, number 50, Lewis from Swindon on the LB Racing Kawasaki 400 with a slightly different rear tail unit than you're used to seeing. That looks like an old R6 tail unit, that. And just behind him at the moment, Joe Sheldon Shaw from Sheffield on the LSR Racing KLM Kawasaki. Of course, son of Glenn Shaw, who used to run in the GP1 class with Thundersport GB. So a quick rundown then of the top 5 as they go across the line. It is Stanier, here he is, that still leads from Cunvin and Strafford. Joe Sheldon Shaw and Barnes are still fighting it out for Formula 400. Kevin Howdell's up at the sharp end as well. Quick mention for Kevin out there on Street Fighter A Suzuki, number 49. He's in the top 6, but nobody can keep up with Stanier at the moment. He's lapping a second quicker than Cunvin in second place there, number 18. Paul Cunvin, of course, Street Fighter B, as is Ryan Strafford there in third place overall, but second in class. Now there's a green stationary flag just being held up there as they enter the S's, as that is Joe Sheldon Shaw going underneath Dave Palfman. Now that means there's an incident back down the road towards the start of the Bentley Straight, so maybe something's happened back there, not sure what. Joe Sheldon Shaw has got ahead of Lewis Barnes. Now Lewis Barnes must have made a mistake somewhere, so I wonder whether he's maybe run off circuit and that's why we had a yellow flag in the first place. But either way, that is Joe Sheldon Shaw that leads the Formula 400 class, and there's Dave Palfman, currently third in class, 5th overall, number 72. Dave from Hereford, riding under the British Army race team banner. Stanier it is that leads though, number 121. As we entered the weekend, he's still got a bit of catching up to do overall in the Street Fighter Extreme, because he's not entered every single round, as Strafford it was that had the advantage in that. As we get another glimpse there of the 400 Kawasaki of Joe Sheldon Shaw, who's having a decent run out so far this weekend. Very relaxed riding style, but learning all the time. And nice bikes, those 400s. Really lovely bike to ride. They're just about the right move up if you can't afford certain classes, or if you want to just graduate onto a 600 in a slower way from a super teen, something like that. Not a bad route to go. Of course, we've got those beautiful Aprilia 450s as well that you can jump on. So there's just about every class for riders that are young or of any age that want to move through the ranks. There's Stanier then, it is, that still leads this race overall and looks to have this one in the bag. The last lap flag is out, but this is good. Now this is the battle for second place overall, and Strafford it is that has got up into, well, I'll tell you what, he's heard what I said at Donington, and that really has hit him. And now he wants to get himself the victory in Street Fighter B ahead of Paul Cunvin. So Cunvin, who looked to have it in the bag, might not here. It is Stanier that's going to take the win. Surely there he is, number 121. Huge lead, 12, 13 seconds now. But it's all down to Ryan Strafford and Paul Cunvin in second and third overall, and they're battling it out for Street Fighter B glory. In Street Fighter B standings, Strafford and Cunvin coming into this weekend, there are only 10 points between them, so every win counts between those guys, although it looks as though 1-2-1 here, Stanier, who's actually putting a lap on the Street Fighter C winner, Duncan McMillan, in 10th. That is how well he's going. He's going to take the checkered flag. We just now need to look back and see what happens between Strafford and Cunvin. It is Stanier that takes it. Duncan McMillan has had a lap cut short, but he wins Street Fighter C. And it is Ryan Strafford that is going to take second place. So Strafford takes second ahead of Paul Cunvin, and Strafford ditches the bridesmaid tag. And it's come good for him. He finishes the winner in Street Fighter B. Joe Sheldon Shaw, 4th overall, and the winner of the Formula 400s. There is Stanier then, the winner of Street Fighter A, ahead of Kevin Howdell in Street Fighter B. A very happy Ryan Strafford ahead of Paul Cunvin and Dave Palfman in Street Fighter C. It's Duncan McMillan with the win ahead of Keith Warren, the champion of last year, and Alan Naylor. And in the 400s, it is Joe Sheldon-Shaw, Lewis Barnes and Rob Pragnall.
Formula 400 winner, Joe, you must be happy with that one.
Yeah, really happy. I got a really bad start at the beginning, but just chipped away and yeah, pulled a good gap. Just like to thank Mum, Dad, family, friends, LSR Racing, ITRM Chiropractic, RJL, and Paul.
Street Fighter A winner, Martin Stanier, you must be very chuffed with that.
Yeah, over the moon with that. We're going all right. The pace is pretty good. It's a bit lonely. There's a few Street Fighter A's missing this weekend, so hopefully come Cadwell there'll be a bit more competition for me. And I'd just like to thank Moto 46 and Maxton Suspension.
Well done to you, Martin. Then coming up after the break, it is time for race 2 in the Thundersport 500s. Join us in a minute. Welcome back to Snetterton. Time for race 2, the Buff Headwear Thundersport 500s. In race 1, we saw Carl Smalley, the championship leader, taking the win overall. Can Adam Palfreman there, number 64, get himself at the sharp end? I know one thing, he's not cleaned his bike in between races. There's still loads of flies on the front of it. There's Carl Smalley, who won race 1 and is looking for another one. And Tom Leonard, number 21, he finished second earlier. What can he do here? There's Rob Morby. Look out for Rob, number 53 in the seniors. He leads the Thundersport Seniors Championship. His competition probably coming in the shape of Colin Mooney and Factory Phil Brown. We are ready to go then for the Thundersport 500s. Another great start from second on the grid for Carl Smalley with a pink and green helmet heading down towards Ritchie's, and Adam Palfreman is not going to hold on to even second place as Tom Leonard goes through. Look at that start for Carl Smalley. It was a rocket start on the Honda CB500. They all head up towards Montreal for the first time, and no one is even close to Smalley as they ram Montreal and head onto the Bentley Straight, but he gets his arm tucked behind his back and he's away with it already. And question is now, can Tom Leonard, yes, well, he's doing right in second, and Adam Palfreman get themselves in the mix. Rob Morby's got a good start as well. He's up into third place now. The leader of the seniors cut, number 53. Smalley it is that leads. Tom Leonard has done well to cut the gap. There's Adam Horton as well, number 49, who's got his nose ahead of Adam Palfreman. So disastrous first half a lap for Adam Palfreman. There's number 70, that was Snow, Matt Snow, out there with the green Honda. Down into Montreal. 101 is Colin Mooney. Colin, another of the senior cup riders, just losing a bit of momentum there as they go onto the start-finish straight though. And that was 411. Alan Naylor just trying to pull up alongside him. There's Horton and Rob Morby. Meanwhile, further up, just having a good ding-dong down into turn 1. Oh, and I don't even know if Carl Smalley saw Tom Leonard there, number 21, and Tom Leonard's just trying to find any way around Smalley. No, not round the outside, not into Montreal. And he's having to sit up a bit there. Tom Leonard's got a bit of speed here. They go onto the back straight, and Leonard has got this one in the bag if he just tucks up in the slipstream and pulls out at the right moment. They're weaving down the back straight. They're side by side now, and Tom Leonard is going to have the lead. He does, as they get ready to brake and chop down the gears into the S's, but Smalley leaves it late and snatches back the lead again. So Carl Smalley it is that still leads from Tom Leonard. These two have broken away from the chasing pack that includes Horton, Morby and Palfreman. These are the class of the field, so it seems at this moment in time. Hopefully we'll get a few more in the frame at Cadwell Park. Such a great circuit for close racing. Number 94 and 84, a couple of rookies there with orange bibs on, having a good battle. Chris Ashfield and Joe Miller. They go around Coram Curve, but it is Smalley and Tom Leonard that continue to battle it out front. Across the line, there they are, the race leaders. That's Horton, number 49, just ahead of Morby and Palfreman, and then Steve Wood, Jonathan Perry, and Alan Naylor. Then in 6th, 7th and 8th, there's 101. Colin Mooney in 10th, just ahead of Factory Phil Brown, number 98, one of many from the Donkey Box Racing squad. beautiful day though for motorcycle racing here at Snetterton. When you do get days like this, it is such a great place to come racing. At the front, it's still going on between Carl Smalley and Tom Leonard. Once again, Smalley just getting his arm behind him. Tom Leonard not doing the same. Leonard tends to tuck his in just in front of him for some reason, but well, each to their own. They're both just as quick as each other, and that was a great move at the front there. Tom Leonard up the inside of Smalley. There's the battle for third. Palfreman, Horton. We've got Rob Morby in there as well. Steve Wood, Jonathan Perry. They're all battling it out. Alan Naylor's there as well. And just some superb racing between these Thundersport 5. Such a popular championship, the Buff Headwear Thundersport 500, as we see this battle continuing between Leonard and Carl Smalley. So popular, in fact, that when we go to Cadwell Park next month, we've actually got 54 entries in the Buff Headwear Thundersport 500 Championship for 38 places on the grid. You might be thinking, okay, well, what happens to the 16 that are not successful? Well, I can tell you that they'll all be racing at some point over the weekend. Some will be transferred into become Street Fighter C runners. Either way, everyone gets some racing, but 54 500 battling it out for 38 places on the grid for the Cadwell Park. Really looking forward to that one, and that's the long way around. Richie's on the exit there, Ryder just going straight on, but he's going to rejoin safely. Once upon a time there was a big old potato field there that would have swallowed him up, but not so here. Still Smalley and Tom Leonard fighting at the front, and they just seem to be taking chunks out of each other. It's now Smalley that leads up the inside of Leonard down into the S's. In third place, it's between Horton there, number 49, and the orange machine of Adam Palfreman, who was on pole position. Palfreman is that has it at the moment, but that one is going right down to the line. Back to the front, Smalley versus Leonard. This looks like being the fight for the championship in 2014. I hope I'm not doing a disservice to the likes of Horton or Palfreman further back, and maybe they'll be able to answer a few questions when we get to Cadwell Park, and maybe their season will start there. Further back, that is number 92, Peter Bardell on the PB Racing Honda. These two really hammering it out. Loads of points on the board already, and just some. The great thing about I think about their racing so far is that it is close, but it's fair as well. We're not seeing anything too dirty going on, and Smalley sitting the bike up there, just defending the inside line so that he's got the better of Tom Leonard. He might just have slipped out a bit of there as they go on the back straight. That might not have worked out. He's lost a lot of momentum, and here comes Tom Leonard now into the slipstream and down into the S's once more. Bit of traffic up ahead for these two, and that might cause some problems, and they're bucking and weaving, but Leonard has got the advantage now. Smalley's going to have a look up the inside as they flick right though. No, he stays where he is for now. Leonard it is that leads from Carl Smalley, and this traffic up ahead could be vital in terms of who wins this race overall. They're going to have to go up the inside of one and around the outside of another, and that will have scared the life out of the guys that are just being lapped at the moment. Again, we see number 70, Matt Snow, out there from Brigg on the Rat Out Racing machine with Bardell. Who's going to get the race win? Well, we'll find out shortly. Tom Leonard it is that leads from Carl Smalley, and Leonard has just managed to get a tenth or so, I would say, out of that, filtering through the traffic. So Smalley has got it all to do. They exit Ritchie's, the double apex right-hander, and up towards Montreal now, and Leonard's going to have to, well, he'll defend his line, but I'm not sure if it's going to help him out or not. There's Harley Preble, he's up in the top 10, and he's having a decent race, although that wasn't the best line on the exit of Ritchie's. Still it is Leonard with the advantage, but Smalley was, because he wasn't close enough to get underneath Leonard there, he was able to take the quickest line. So he's going to give himself a fighting chance here. Leonard has got the inside line down into the S's, so again, this is an opportunity for Smalley to close up, and Smalley's going to have a look down into Murray's. That's the only place I can see this happening. They come up towards the bomb hole here. This will be almost flat out on one of these 500s, and then they really are flat out on their knees all the way around Coram Curve. In fact, Smalley, is he going to have a look around the outside here into Coram Curve? It's the long way round. There's only one place left for a move here, unless he gets on the power early. No, he's not close enough, and he knows it. He's going to have to get on the power really early to stand any chance. Onto the start-finish straight we go. Smalley won it in race 1. He's not going to this time. This championship is alive and kicking. Tom Leonard wins race 2 in the Thundersport 500s ahead of Carl Smalley. Great racing between the pair of them. Who's going to get third? It's thumbs up for Adam Horton. He gets it ahead of Adam Palfreman, who comes out of this race empty-handed. Rob Morby finishes in 5th place and wins the Senior Cup, and it's Stephen Wood in 6th. Some great racing though from the Thundersport 500s, and cannot wait to watch this championship unfold when we head to Cadwell Park next for round 4 at Thundersport GP. There they are though, the top 3. Leonard, the winner this time ahead of Smalley and Adam Horton. And in the Senior Cup, it's Rob Morby that wins from Colin Mooney and Phil Brown. Factory Phil, see what the championship standings are then. Not a lot in it at all. 22 points between Smalley and Leonard. Lovely stuff. Horton 3rd, Palfreman 4th, Rob Morby 5th, ahead of Stephen Wood. In the seniors, it is Rob Morby. Surprise, surprise. Last year's champion that leads from Colin Mooney. Phil Brown is in 3rd, Moss 4th, ahead of Bezic and Simon East.
This is why we come racing, is for those kind of races. We don't come racing to clear off, or this is proper racing. And it was a great race with Carl. They've all been good races over the weekend. We've come here with I have not been here to this circuit with the CB500 before, so to come away with 3 wins in a second and clear 95 points out of possible 100 is absolutely magnificent for us. The team, Gary Hilton and Jeff have put a great Worcester Bosch Honda underneath me. It's just been a great weekend for us, and I hope it can continue like that. I hope we can take our championship assault at Cadwell Park and carry on the way that we are doing.
Did you think that the Thundersport 500 would actually be as good as it is?
Absolutely not. It's far exceeded any expectation that I had of the series. The Thundersport crew here, they put on a magnificent organisation. It's slick. It's a slick operation. So it's a fantastic thing to do. These races here are probably the best racing you're going to get, anywhere really. It's cracking racing. So.
I think, to be fair, I think MotoGP would be proud of this kind of racing. But have you got some sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to see Rossi on a CB500. So yeah, I'd like to thank obviously Worcester Bosch, NGK Spark Plugs, Hilton, Gary and Jeff put a great bike under me this weekend. I've had one of my friends has come this weekend to watch me race. He's that impressed with me. He's just bought me a set of tyres for Cadwell Park. So thanks Byron for that. And I can't think if there's anyone else that I've forgotten. There probably is, but I will try and get round to mentioning you all in due course.
Well, thanks for that great action, guys. Coming up after the break, don't go anywhere. Time for the A&R Racing Pre-National 600s. Welcome back to Snetterton for the A&R Racing Pre-National Sport 600s here. Thundersport Plus Race 2. Ozzy Mady picked up the win earlier on. There he is, second on the grid on the Kawasaki, but it's Parsons who is on pole position, and well, he looks set to take the championship lead, but anything can happen in motorcycle racing. Ozzy Mady, there he is, the rider from the Isle of Man, looked very happy with that win earlier on. Can he do the same again? Dean Mulcahy, their number 95, also on the front row. Adam Revel there, number 33, with the orange bib on, a rookie for this season. Very much in the frame in terms of the championship. He's lost a little bit of ground to Stephen Parsons, but he can easily make that up again here in this race. The lights go out then, and it's a great start from Stephen Parsons, number 11. Really did get away from the line very well as they all head down into turn 1. A good start also from Chris Sanders, number 5. Into Richie's corner we go, and down towards Montreal for the first time. So there is Parsons that lead. Oh, and what's happened there? A major wobble for Stephen Parsons. Something has gone wrong for him. Ozzy Mady it is that has the early advantage then, and Parsons certainly had some sort of drama as he just tipped into Montreal. Not quite sure what that was, but it's Mady that leads from Chris Sanders. Parsons has regrouped up into third, just ahead of the white helmet there of Dean Mulcahy. And now they exit the Essers for the first time, and it's Mady, and there's a bit of smoke coming out of the back of what looks like Parsons' machine there. So Parsons definitely got some issues with that Giraffe Racing Triumph. Further back down the grid, 74 Lee Brockhurst. Well, this is a bit of trouble. There's a rider off at the top of the screen there as well. All sorts going on in this first lap. There's Adam Revel. There's birthday boy Asa Webb taking the wide line around Coram Curve down into Murray's. And onto the start-finish straight, as we see once again there Grant Newstead and Chris Wilkinson having a decent race, and that's Steve Parsons. Stephen Parsons, the championship leader. Well, he might not be for much longer. He's pulled into pit lane. That'll be the end of his race then. So Aussie Mady it is that leads. Now this will close the championship right up overall, with Parsons having to exit the race on the right into pit lane, but he definitely had a few problems there. So it is now Aussie Mady that has the advantage from Chris Sanders. Matt Truelove is up in the top 3 or 4 as well. Adam Revel, well, Adam, with Parsons out of this race, Adam Revel would need to finish in the top 3 of this race now to be championship leader. Anything lower than third means he would enter Cadwell Park as second overall. He came into this weekend with a lead over Stephen Parsons, but he has dropped that, having not scored any points in the last time. There's 71 and 33. There's Paul Rogers and Adam Revel. So at the moment, Revel is down in 4th place, and in the background there, that's Dean Mulcahy. So it was Dean Mulcahy that we saw. We saw a bit of dust being kicked up on the opening lap, just between the bomb hole and Corums. And it is Dean Mulcahy that's gone down, so it's another rider that was in the top 3 of the championship, not scoring any points here. So does anyone want to win this championship, or lead it at least? It is Aussie Mady that has the advantage. Last year, Formula 400 champion. Number 5, Chris Sanders in second. Matt Truelove there in third. Then number 71, Paul Rogers in 4th place. So Adam Revel is down in 5th at the moment. That would be 11 points, not enough for him to take the championship lead. It's a great opportunity here for a number of riders, including Truelove, Sanders, Ibbotson, etc., to really close up on Parsons and Revel overall in the standings, and we could be in for a humdinger of a series here. Last few years we've had some runaway championship winners. Of course, a couple of years ago, the first year it was brought into Thundersport GP, it was Barry Teasdale that won the championship by a country mile. Last year, James Shaw won it with quite a few rounds to go. This is the battle going on for 7th place, by the way. That's Grant Newstead, just number 8 with the orange bib on, ahead of number 50, Darren Ibbotson. That's Asa Webb just behind them, the yellow and black Suzuki. And all of these guys up inside the top 10. Greg Scanlon is next up, and Chris Wilkinson's there as well as sort of Charlie Oakland fighting away in the top 10. But it's Aussie Mady that's just put in a 16 flat. And that's not quite the quickest lap of the race so far. Quickest lap belongs to Matt Truelove, actually, in 3rd place. Sanders still in as 2nd. That is Adam Revel, who's got himself ahead of Paul Rogers now. And there is number 43, Chris Wilkinson, who's back out with us for this weekend. Number 55, Tom Hallam, currently in the points as well. Just, in fact, behind James May and Daz Odlin, so they're battling for the final points. But Aussie Mady, well, since Stephen Parsons departed the scene and stopped the race for himself, Aussie Mady has not been troubled at the front so far. Chris Sanders is trying everything he can in second, but it's not quite happening. There is Asa Webb. Started out in the Super Teens with Thundersport back in 2008, then went on to a 450. Missed, probably missed quite a bit of time actually due to injuries and all sorts of other reasons. So he's not always been racing throughout the last 5-6 years, but when he is, it's great to see him. Last lap flag is out now for Aussie Mady. He's surely got this one in the bag. He's got a good 5 seconds, is that, over Chris Sanders. Matt Truelove there in 3rd, and Adam Revel in 4th. Now, as it stands, I think Parsons would lead the championship by a single point going into Cadwell Park. There is number 71, Paul Rogers, who's having a decent weekend, entered the weekend 7th overall in the championship, will probably stay 7th. And there is number 92, Matt Johnston, just outside the top 10 at the moment for Matt, but he's having a bit of a lonely race here in race 2. Aussie Matey it is though, that looks to pick up the points as they've already put a lap on Steve Taylor there, number 96. Matt Truelove has a big look over his shoulder to see Adam Revel there, number 33. The rider from Grimsby on the Team Auto Designs Kawasaki. He'll just be a point shy of Steve Parsons in the championship overall by the time we get to Lincolnshire next month, ready for Cadwell Park. But today belongs to Aussie Matey. The rider from the Isle of Man has been unstoppable, and he's going to pick up 50 points from the 2 races, maximum then for Aussie Matey. Great win, that one. It's a shame we didn't get to see the dogfight between him and Steve Parsons, but that was easy for Aussie Matey in the end. It's Chris Sanders with a solid 2nd place, and that'll do him a few favours in the championship. Matt Truelove with a 3rd ahead of Adam Revel, and it's Paul Rogers 5th and Darren Ibbotson in 6th place. On the podium then, there is Aussie Matey, centre of your picture, very happy. We'll catch up with him in just a second. Parsons it is then, that leads by a point despite the DNF. Adam Revel in 2nd. It's Moggy 3rd ahead of Truelove, Sanders and Darren Ibbotson.
Aussie Matey won that one. Won it from start to finish, really.
Yeah, it's just get up and go, really.
Copybook, actually.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Not really much more I can say. I mean, I think there was a bit of messing around behind me, and it just gave me a chance to get away, and then I just maintained it.
Next race on circuit, the Sparklight Racing Golden Era Superbike and Supersport. Earlier on we saw Shane and Jamie Pearson, the brothers, the first brothers in fact to have ever won 2 classes within the same race. They're looking to do the same again here. Quick nod of the head there from John Dieterman, who's 2nd on the grid. Unfortunately for him, it was a DNF in race 1, a mechanical failure, and he'll look to put that right. No no Chris Martin on pole position for this race. As I mentioned before, his bike went pop yesterday, so he's not out there. But it is a good start again from John Dieterman. Of course, on the front row, also Andrew Windsor, number 30, but it's going to be Dieterman with the whole shot down into turn 1 ahead of Windsor and Shane Pearson. That looks like Craig Jeff in 4th place, just up alongside Ollie Dupree, who was the championship leader coming into this weekend. He's lost a bit of ground in terms of points overall, but it's going to be tight in the point standings by the time we get to Cadwell, because he has not quite been on the podium pace this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what the point standings look like with these guys by the end of this race. Can John Dieterman get the big points on the board? He deserves them because he's been at the sharp end so many times and the bike's just given up the ghost. He certainly hasn't though, and he is leading overall ahead of Shane Pearson and Andrew Windsor. There's Ollie Dupree, Nick Williamson, then it's Jamie Pearson we see there going through, leading the Super Sports. There's Brad Davey, a former Street Fighter C champion of ours, and Dan Baton, number 78. Nice to see Dan out there, just having a decent battle. That's a good effort there from number 76 as well. Ian Morgan, Ian on the other Suzuki, Melted Sliders Suzuki, just up ahead of Andy Chalice, number 20. And that's Keith Smith, Mr. Potato Head, out there on the Ducati 916. Not quite sure what the hand signals are all about there from the Melted Sliders lot, but I'm sure the riders know what that means more than I do. We'll see if we can dig out a story there for you at Cadwell. Further back again we see Davey and number 78 Dan Baton. Those guys just outside the top 10. For the Super Sports it's going to be the same candidates battling for the win. Jamie Pearson, number 24, Richie Harrison, 48, and Sam Nicholson, number 2. There is a rider that is one of the, he's just a fine gentleman in the paddock. He fought for this championship a few years ago and lent his bike to Lee Reevely, who went on to become the champion when Lee had a few problems. That's Nick Williamson. Number 6, just following the shadows there of Ollie Dupree, who leads this championship overall, but for how much longer? The Baxi Yamaha of John Dieterman leads at the moment, number 18, John from Preston. That's the lovely Yamaha 750, sounds beautiful still. And of course the Kawasaki's shooting their way down into Murray's. That's Thomas Key or Kai, sorry if I've pronounced it wrong, Tom, but a rider that hasn't had very far to travel from Wyndham, just down the road. So he's a newcomer for this weekend at Thundersport GB. But it's John Dieterman at the moment that leads this race, and he's building up quite a handsome lead. He was the leader in race 1. But, oh, and there's a problem there for Andrew Windsor, number 30. He's wheeling his bike away. Not quite sure what's happened. But Ryder finished second in race 1. He's not going to do the same again here. There's Shane Pearson, the winner of race 1, trying to hunt down John Dieterman, and this is now then effectively the battle for third place between Ollie Dupree and Nick Williamson. And I tell you what, Ollie Dupree will be happy with the podium at this rate. The bike just not playing ball. That's actually a Honda SP2 versus a Honda SP1. Battling it out for third place, but so far in the Sparklight Racing Golden Era Superbikes, the leader is John Dieterman ahead of Shane Pearson. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to Thundersport Plus here at Snetterton. Not long to go here for John Dieterman on the Sparklight Racing Golden Era Superbikes. Can his bike make it to the checkered flag though? That's the big question. He has been on it the last couple of rounds, but just has had so much bad luck, and he does deserve the win. Further back, that is Nick Williamson, just putting a lap on Andrew Goodsell. And those guys having a decent fight for the points in the Super Sport. But John Dieterman here sees the last lap flag, so just a lap left now for Dieterman. He's got a huge lead ahead of Shane Pearson, but Pearson's going to pick up some massive points in the championship. Ollie Dupree, it is in third place, the series leader overall. In the Super Sport, Jamie Pearson, it is that's leading by a couple of seconds now from Richie Harrison. There is Shane Pearson, Jamie's brother, in second place at the moment, but it looks like the Baxi Yamaha here of John Dieterman is going to pick up the spoils. There's just half a lap to go now for the rider to pick up this well-earned victory as we head towards Cadwell Park next. Good race this from John. Quick mention out for Phil Cox as well, having some fun out there. Number 56 out on the Super Sports. Phil is father of Sam, who races in the Van Insura Sportsman Elite 600, so nice to see Phil out there. There is Ollie Dupree we just saw, and once again Andy Chalice here, number 20, fighting with Mr. Potato Head Keith Smith, but the checker flag is out, and Dieterman, yes, he's got it, the bike has made it, and he's got a well-deserved 25 points there, John Dieterman, thumbs up for him. Great stuff for John, and he's back in the championship hunt. Shane Pearson finishes in second place ahead of Ollie Dupree. Nick Williamson's fourth ahead of Ian Morgan and Andy Chalice. So then, there they are on the podium. Happy and smiles all round for Dieterman, Pearson and Ollie Dupree, the top three in Superbikes. And in Super Sport, Jamie Pearson with another win ahead of Richie Harrison and Sam Nicholson. Let's take a look at the points then heading into Cadwell. Look at that, a point in it between Ollie Dupree and Shane Pearson. Nick Williamson in third ahead of Craig Jeff, Stedman in fifth and Richard Blunt in sixth, last year's champion. And in the Super Sport points overall, Sam Nicholson leads it from Richie Harrison and Jamie Pearson. That is going to go all the way down to the wire. Whale in fourth ahead of Martin and Wintle.
Race winner overall. You've had your problems this weekend, to be fair, but it's all come good at the end.
You can say that now. Yeah, we've had a few problems this weekend. Yesterday, the exhaust bracket dropped off, and today's race, the foot peg dropped off, the gear lever. So we've had 2 DNFs and 2 wins. So I hope we don't keep this pattern up for the rest of the year.
Have you got some sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, my Baxi Heating, who sponsor me. So thank you to them, all my friends at work as well. And my dad for building a superb bike again. We couldn't do it without him. So thanks, Dad. Thanks, Baxi.
Well, thanks to you, John. Great stuff there. Well, the marshals prepare themselves for the final race of Thundersport Plus. It's the Isle of Man Race Products Street Fighters and Formula 400s. Earlier on, we saw a great win for Martin Stanier, and there he is, looking very happy and poised, prepared to try and do the same again. Paul Cunvin second on the grid, and Ryan Strafford there third on the grid. Well, he had his number, didn't he, earlier on? That's a sticker there in memory of Ian Alkins. But it's going to be a good old ding-dong between those two Street Fighter B-boys, Cunvin and Strafford, number 18 and 57. I don't think they're going to have enough to match Stanier, though, on pole position. Of course, a bigger engine, Street Fighter A rider. Away we go from the line then, and another good start from Stania. And Paul Cumpin also got away from the line nicely as well. Down into turn 1 we go. It's Stania, Cumpin and Strafford. Dave Palferman also good start for him on the orange and black machine. The Triumph there, number 72, up to 4th place. Another Street Fighter B rider. These guys score points in their own championships and all together as well. So Stania, at the moment, got a bit of catching up to do in the Street Fighter Extreme standings. There are Formula 400s out there as well, as we mentioned. A good battle so far this season between Joe Sheldon Shaw, number 10, and number 50, Lewis Barnes. But Stania it is that leads down the end of the back straight. They tip into S's and then a short stretch to the bomb hole. Cunvin at the moment just hanging on to him quite well. Number 49 there, got a glimpse of Kevin Howdle. There's Andy Driver. Number 79 is Stephen Petrie. 79 Steve Petrie from Thetford, which is probably around about 5 minutes away from sunny Snet here, so Stephen not far to go home, but he's got one race to go through here. There's number 32. Number 32 is Adam Palferman. We've literally not long ago seen Adam, of course, racing in Thundersport 500s. He does like keeping himself busy in these races. He's having a good fight there with Joe Sheldon Shaw. Then that's Duncan McMillan leading Street Fighter C, number 7 on the KTM. And there's a bit of a gap back then to Keith Warren, the defending champion, number 1. There's a bit of a wide line there from Stania, but it doesn't matter. He's, at the moment, lapping a good couple of seconds quicker than the rest as he floors that Suzuki GSX-R 750 down the back straight. There is Duncan McMillan, number 7. The Jim Aim Racing KTM. These Street Fighter C guys, great to have around the paddock, always looking to get the better over each other, and at the moment he's got Keith Warren behind him, and that's where he wants him to stay. Martin Stania leads though. Around Corums he goes, lapping in the 116s at the moment. There's Dave Palferman, number 72, brother of course to Adam Palferman, who's a bit further back. Not sure how that will go down over dinner. And there's Joe Sheldon Shaw, who at the moment leads the Formula 400s. Lewis Barnes just a bit further back, and Lewis's times are a bit slower than race 1. Not sure if maybe he's run into some trouble. There's Martin Stania, number 121, just putting a lap on number 12, Nathan Sackeld. And there is Ryan Strafford, currently in 3rd, so he is behind Paul Cumbin at the moment, chasing him down. This is the battle for Street Fighter C now. Keith Warren, number 1, the defending champion, is closed in on Duncan McMillan now, and Keith's times are looking pretty good. Keith out there on a Aprilia 550, Duncan on the 690. Of course, they are Supermoto machines, effectively. Those guys transferred into the Thundersport paddock 3-4 years ago now, and they've been loving it ever since. Stania at the moment, though, no competition for him. He's got about a 14-15 second lead. This is the fight for Street Fighter C. These two guys, great friends off circuit. They might not be for much longer. The last lap flag is out. Stania will have more than just the lead of the start-finish straight. He's miles ahead of the rest of the field. Kevin Howdle currently in 2nd in the Street Fighter race, 5th overall. Paul Cunvin it is, number 18, that's in 2nd. This is Andy Driver, just being lapped, number 88, by Ryan Strafford, number 57. There's Andrew Castle in there as well. Number 121 though, Martin Stania, making light work of the field here. Hopefully he'll have a bit more competition. He'll certainly have quite a few more bikes to deal with when we get to Cadwell Park. Got full grids expected over at Cadders in Lincolnshire. This is Ryan Strafford once again, number 57. The rider from Murfield on the Access Drilling Triumph. And it is still McMillan and Warren batting it out in 8th and 9th overall, which is very respectable for Street Fighter C victory. Joe Sheldon Shaw, by the way, in 6th place on the Kawasaki ZX-R 400. There he is, right on cue. He hasn't had any competition either, because there's obviously some problems with Lewis Barnes' 400. He's a bit further back at the moment. In fact, he's doing everything he can to hold on to 2nd place ahead of Rob Ragnall, but it is Stania that takes the win overall in the class. That's the battle actually just up ahead of him. He's coming up to lap 4 Street Fighter C. In second place is Paul Cunvin overall and wins Street Fighter B ahead of Ryan Strafford. Dave Palfman 4th ahead of Kevin Howdle, and Joe Sheldon Shaw wins the 400s in 6th place. On the podium then, Stania wins in Street Fighter A ahead of Kevin Howdle. In Street Fighter B, Paul Cunvin with it this time ahead of Ryan Strafford and Dave Palfman. In Street Fighter C it was Duncan McMillan, there he is, on the top step ahead of Keith Warren and Andy Driver. And in the 400s, Joe Sheldon Shaw with victory ahead of Lewis Barnes and Rob Fragnall. The Street Fighter Extreme points heading into Cadwell Park, Ryan Strafford and Paul Cunvin locked on 243 points, and Dave Palfman and Martin Stania locked on 155. Onto the 400 standings going into Cadwell. Lewis Barnes it is with the lead still, but by just 5 points. It's on. Rob Pragnall in third ahead of Sakel, Knoll and Burridge.
Street Fighter B winner Paul Cunvin. I mean, it's back and forward with you and Ryan. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, it's just, is this going to go on all year?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Like, we're pushing each other. I mean, we're trading lap records every meeting, so I think we're now even in the championship. I've won 6, he's won 6, so it's really good. We're pushing each other along really well, so it's pretty good. I mean, this time last year, I'd just come out of hospital after smashing my arm up and thought I wasn't going to race again. So to go from that to this in a year, absolutely fantastic. Loving every second of it.
And you must have a lot of support.
Yeah, I got Nige and Diet, Pitty's Custom Vinyls. Won't be doing anything without them. They looked after me all weekend. We've got Tank Slap Motorcycle Forum. We've got my main man Griff, my little brother Nick, my girlfriend Steph, who is my grid girl. We've got Phil Taylor and Nina Lyons as well. So thank you to all those people. Chipped in so much.
Well, it's been some beautiful weather here at Snet, but that's it for another year. Next up for us on Thundersport Plus, Cadwell Park. Be sure to join us for that one.